Oh my God.
FBI, open up!
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh my God.
we got him.
Now, nobody has made an official video yet, so I'm gonna do a reaction to that too. This is just gonna be my reaction to the initial reports that I'm seeing right now. So the autopsy report got dropped for the Nolan Wales case. Okay, my name is Mula. If you don't know who I am, I do reaction videos on this channel, so subscribe if you haven't already. We've been talking a lot about the Nolan Wales case, and I'm about to get into the autopsy report and all the information that I see, all right? So before we get into what Benjamin Crump is going to say, this autopsy report is signed on July 19th, all right? So let's go into the facts, okay? So the facts say, before we even get into the injuries, there's injuries on his head, there's injuries on his throat, there's injuries, there's soft tissue injuries on the back of his head. There's a lot of things going on, okay? So the manner of death was listed as undetermined, pending an investigation, with the date of death also unknown. The forensic pathologist said he cannot rule out damage to the throat as being a cause or contributing factor to Nolan Wales' death because it had been removed during the initial autopsy. So the initial autopsy in Mississippi, they removed his throat. Who? What? What?
What?
Is that normal? Listen, I'm not a medical professional. I don't fucking know. Is it normal for them to just cut your throat out? Why would they cut his throat out? It sounds like the racist Mississippi autopsy people knew that his throat was choked. Why else would they rip his throat out? This is the New York Post. Okay? The forensic pathologist, remember, for everybody that don't know, Nolan Wales' family sent his body to another city and state. I believe it was Washington, D.C. They sent his body all the way to the northeast side of the country to get an independent autopsy report because they had a feeling things was a little fishy down there in Mississippi. So the forensic pathologist in the independent report said he cannot rule out damage to the throat as being a cause or contributor factor to Wales' death because it had been removed. His throat had been removed in the initial autopsy.
FBI, open up!
Why would you remove his throat? It sounds like you choked the man to death and threw him off the boat. But don't worry, it's get worse. Famed civil rights attorney Ben Crump announced the findings as Wales' heartbroken parents, Christine and Elmore Wansley, listed on from the press conference crowd. Okay, now listen. Crump also claimed that Nolan Wales' body was found face down and fully clothed, despite photos from that day showing he was shirtless and had on swimming trunks. The pathologist also highlighted 7 unanswered questions in his autopsy report. These include: what were the circumstances that led to Wales entering the water? What position was the body in when it was found? And was there any water in the airway which could indicate drowning? Because a dead boy can't breathe. So there will be no, you get what I'm saying? The pathologist added that he still wants to know if there's any evidence of injuries to the front of the neck or throat or evidence of a brain bleed. Finally, the pathologist highlighted the need to discover the composition of Wales' stomach contents and the toxicology report findings. Despite the unanswered questions, the NAACP conceded that it couldn't rule out that Wales' death may have been an accident. So they saying they can't rule out that it could have been an accident. Cool. But why was his throat taken out? Listen, y'all, YouTube and Meta might owe you up to $1,000 if you or your child grew up on social media. If you or your child spent years growing up on social media and experienced serious mental health issues, you should hear this. Recently, a jury just ordered Meta and YouTube to pay millions for their role in designing and promoting addictive platforms. They know that their apps can cause anxiety, depression, or body image issues. But they never shared those risks with us. They never made us sign anything that we knew the risk. They just maximized their profits. And the recent historic verdict underscores the consequences of those decisions. But you better not worry. Morgan & Morgan is stepping up to hold these platforms accountable for the harm that they have caused. Click the link in my bio to take a very short questionnaire quiz because you might be entitled to a potential recovery of over $1,000. What the fuck? If it was truly an accident, they have the resources available to help them navigate the situation. The NAACP president Derek Johnson told the press conference. Police have said nothing points to foul play, at least yet, and they suspect Wells likely drowned after his friends left the island without him. The teen's body was positively identified on July 7th during dental records. Okay, I think his funeral was yesterday or the day before. Okay, so I'm gonna go to Instagram real quick and kind of hear what Benjamin Crump has to say about
focal
this.
area of red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, the occipital region, is significant because he cannot determine why you have that red discoloration in the back of his brain.
Right.
That's significant. He also talked about...
Now, to be fair, it's very possible that he could have drowned and his head hit a rock or something like that. So I think that's why they're not ruling that out. But we're also not going to rule out the fact that it could have been some foul play. We're not going to do that, especially if they found his body fully clothed. Well, whose clothes were they? Where did he get the clothes from? Did he come with clothes? Did he come with a bag? I don't fucking see a reason to go to an island with clothes on. If I'm going to an island, I'm gonna go with some trunks and no shirt. Why would I bring a pair? Why would I bring a change of clothes to a fucking island or a beach? Just my question.
Mr. Williams, if you could. Just the fact that, as it's common practice, he was missing his throat.
Oh, it's common
when
practice.
They received the body.
Okay.
And he wants to know why.
Somebody said what?
They held it back. He's not drawing any conclusions, but he said he would want to examine it if there were neck fractures or compressions to the neck. Yeah. And he thinks that's significant to know at autopsy. The reason he says he would hold it back when he was medical examiner because he thought that there may have been some issues with neck fractures. The last thing that is significant is what we said before about him, the condition of his body when he went into the water.
Right.
Was he conscious or unconscious? Was he forced or unforced into the water?
Right.
He said those things are very significant. But he started off talking about this red discoloration in the back of his head is something that was of great concern to him. The focal area. So
let's read it. Independent autopsy report requested by Nolan Wells' family found that the 18-year-old boy's cause and manner of death remain undetermined while the investigation continues. Family attorney Ben Crump said the autopsy performed by forensic pathologist Dr. Roger Mitchell cannot rule out foul play. The report also noted So remember, the police in Mississippi said there was definitely no foul play. The independent guy said, I can't rule foul play out. The report also noted red discoloration on the back of Nolan's head, but said several factors made it difficult to reach a conclusion. According to Crump, parts of Nolan's throat was missing when the body was examined, preventing the pathologist from ruling out a neck injury as a possible cause or contributing factor in his death. The report also stated it could not determine whether Nolan was conscious before entering the water or how he ended up there. Due to the condition of the body, the pathologist was also unable to determine whether he had any bruising. Crump added that the independent autopsy did not include toxicology results and called the investigators to share the findings from the state's autopsy, which is still pending, while officials wait for toxicology results. Jackson County Sheriff's Office. All right. So the comments, justice for Nolan. Immediately, these boys would not be in the comfort of their homes if colors were the other way around. It's clear he was unalived. We want justice immediately. And this is what I think makes it about race, because you're not about to convince me that if a white boy went to an island with 3 niggas and he came up dead, you're not about to convince me that them 3 niggas wouldn't at least got arrested or you know what I'm saying, interrogated for 3 hours, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not about to convince me. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. This is so damn sad. Missing throat going on, but that's normal though. I thought that was, is that what he said is normal? I think that means the first people who did the opposite, he kept, but why would they keep his throat though? Of all things, why would they keep his throat? If they send in the body to, why would they keep his throat? That's my only question. It really sounds to me as if he were hit in the back of the head, which would rule BFT as the cause of death. The neck area was obtained to closely investigate trauma, strangulation, or I don't know what that word is, I'm gonna be honest with you. If they kept it, my only assumption is that what they found and are trying to hide it. Exactly. Why would they keep it? Why wouldn't they send that to the independent autopsy if they didn't have nothing to hide? It's weird. If the facts are true, everyone involved needs to be held accountable. No excuses. This will never stop. History gonna repeat it, forever repeat itself. Oh, this shit gonna stop one day. Don't give me. FYI, from working hand in hand with multiple medical examiners, I see people saying body parts are removed when examining the body, which, yes, that is true, but they are put back, especially because they don't belong to the examiner. So for people saying, oh, dog, his throat was removed by the first examiner, like that is okay, when that in fact is not the normal process. See, I'm getting taught something here. You feel me? I'm learning, because I ain't nothing medical. I don't even like blood. I ain't cutting no nigga open. I'll tell you that right the fuck now. But she's saying that it's not normal for them to keep it. Once they remove it, they would have had put it back or just sent it with them. Any subject matter or specimen taken from the first examiner must be included and obtained for the next examiner or given to authorities for his family to decide on what to do with it. So everything about this is proving multiple people are a part of this crime and attempting to avoid prosecution. His neck was missing, no water in his lungs. Lock them up, please. So he didn't drown. Somebody for sure choked him and took it too far. Those parents didn't lawyer up for no reason. His neck was missing. They banged his head and neck area on the edge of the boat, then held him underwater to drown due to the injuries. He couldn't lift his neck up or breathe for air. This is my conclusion on how they killed him. His parents and the new medical examiner need to request all the missing parts. They probably already did, bro. I can't imagine that they haven't done that. I want to do some Google searching though. So, is it normal for a medical examiner to take out the throat of a body and not give it to the parents? I'm gonna just go with what Google says. I'm gonna see what Google says at least. Yes, it is standard for medical examiners to remove the throat structures, including the larynx, trachea, and tongue, to thoroughly examine the airway during the autopsy. However, retaining them without returning them for burial is highly unusual unless they are required for ongoing legal investigations. During an autopsy, examiners often extract organs completely. The throat structures are routinely removed to check for signs of trauma, strangulation, obstruction, or to look for expired fluids like water or vomit. Small slices of tissue are then kept for microscopic analysis. Once the examination is complete, the standard procedure is to place the removed organs back into the body before it is released to the funeral home. So the girl was right in the comment. Why parts may be held back. A medical examiner might intentionally keep specific organs or tissue samples in the following situations: further testing, pending investigation, or state law. So the fact that his funeral was, I don't think it was yesterday. I think it was the day before yesterday. I think it was 2 days ago on the 20th. The fact that his funeral was 2 days ago, and the fact that a medical examiner completed their autopsy report when we still don't have an autopsy report from the first medical examiner in Mississippi. We still don't got their autopsy report, but they got the throat though. But they ain't told us shit about the throat. They ain't told us this. It was water. It wasn't water. It was air. It wasn't air. It was strangulation. Called looks, and it was. They didn't tell us shit. The independent autopsy report got more information than the fucking police in less time. Ain't that a bitch? So I don't know, bro. I'm gonna see if I can find some other things on it on the Shade Room real quick. See through all this bullshit. So I seen this too. They said, I don't know who this person is. Nancy Grace. I've seen her face before, but I don't know what she's known for. Social media users are chiming in after the veteran. Oh, she's a journalist. Veteran journalists began covering the passing on crime stories. So she must be a reputable, whatchamacallit. I don't see anything else on the case as of right now on the Shade Room. Just a bunch of hoopla that I don't know why anybody gives a fuck about. But yeah, let me see if I can cite Nolan Wells autopsy. Let's just see if I can find undetermined cause, autopsy findings. I don't know what this shit said. Ben Crump pointed out red discoloration on the back of Nolan's head and portions of his throat was missing when the examiner received the body. Back head. So he had red discoloration on the back of his head. How would he get a red discoloration on the back of his head? Unless he got hit. The only other thing I can say is maybe, you know, when you in the water, you know, and you just, you know, a body is unalived in the water, maybe his back of his head hit a rock or something. That's the only logical explanation I have. But I would think, I don't know how this shit works, so I really can't talk. You know what I'm saying? All I can do is ask questions. Independent autopsy report has raised more questions around the suspicious death. Wells was a black college student. We know that. Found likely no foul play. Ledbetter announced. Ledbetter is the Jackson County Sheriff. Ledbetter announced there was likely no foul play involved before even completing an official autopsy. So your department didn't even do a fucking autopsy, but you gonna say that there was likely no foul play. At least the news is covering this shit, which led civil rights lawyer Ben Crump to step in and call for an independent one, paid for by former NFL quarterback and activist Colin Kaepernick, and it was conducted on July 10th. It found Wells' cause of manner of death to be undetermined, but did not rule out foul play. So if it's undetermined, that means there needs to be an intense investigation, which it does not sound like there's being right now. The independent autopsy mostly noted red discoloration on the back of Wells' head, just above the start of his neck. So just above his neck, it was red discoloration. While the toxicology report is still missing, so there's no toxicology report, which I think that would report if it was like drugs or anything in his body. I don't know. I think that's what toxicology means. Remember, I ain't no medical professional, nigga. I just do reactions. While the toxicology report is still missing, this is much more information than what the state was prepared to provide. And so it's very funny to me how they got all this information from an independent source, but the state, they ain't got nothing. That's very interesting to me because this boy has been presumed dead since July 4th. That was 18 fucking days ago. Where am I at? The state performed an autopsy as well, but has yet to make its findings public. Wonder why. Ledbetter's premature dismissal of foul play, the involvement of the son of a local judge, the lack of pictures or videos from that day on Wells' phone, and the picture his mother shared on social media of him from the day of his disappearance, smiling with 3 white peers, fueled speculation that race played a role in his death. This most recent finding will only stoke the flames more. We are in Mississippi, Crump said during a speech at New Birth Missionary Baptist in Atlanta on Sunday. These were 3 young white men. Nolan was the only young black man. Had the roles in reverse, we know this investigation would be going differently. It would be like the first 48, no cap. They would be interrogating them young black boys. So the fact that them white boys ain't even got interrogated yet is a fucking problem. While there are still questions swirling, claims of foul play or racism are not completely unfound. Mississippi has a long, disturbing history of anti-black racism from the murder of, I didn't even know Emmett Till was Mississippi, from the murder of Emmett Till 71 years ago to more recent decision by state medical examiners to ignore police brutality and other misdeeds during autopsies. So they known to fucking play with autopsies. Yeah. I just really hope deep down inside my heart that I really hope that Nolan get the justice that he that he deserves. You know what I'm saying? I think it's necessary that he gets this fucking justice, bro. This is crazy. And I hate the fact that you got these weird ass dudes on Instagram and YouTube and all these places. You got these weird ass people acting like it's just you trying to make it about race, bro. What the fuck do you mean? I'm trying to make it about race, bro. This would not be the first time some white people killed a black dude because they didn't like black people. This is probably the 100,000th millionth time, like umpteenth time, like. So don't say I'm making it about race when, nigga, this is history, bro. What the fuck? If I see a duck quacking, nigga, I'ma think it's a fucking duck.